helps your brain.
It
So then
does.
you can remember other things better.
I
It really
do
helps
that.
you.
I write things, I have lists.
Okay, it's 1:30. So Kit, am I ready? I will call the meeting of the McHenry County Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Today, the subject of our hearing is application 2023-029. The applicant is Darko Nikolic. Did I pronounce that correctly? And the request is reclassification from the A1 Agricultural District to the B3 General Business District. It's part of PIN number 20-05-102001. The address is South Rawson Bridge Road, Cary, Illinois. The parcel consists of 2.2 acres on the east side of South Rawson Bridge Road, approximately 165 feet south of the intersection with Rawson Bridge Road in Algonquin Township. At this time, I'll have members of the board introduce themselves and the township in which they reside, starting on my left, Mr. Jers.
Tom Jers from Coral Township.
Robert Cozen from Algonquin Township.
Charlie Eldridge from Richmond Township.
I'm Linnea Kustra from Alden Township.
Vicki Gardner from Nunda Township.
Kurt Schnabel, Riley Township.
Jessica Beverly, Door Township.
This petition has been reviewed and the following items have been received prior to today's scheduled hearing. The publisher's certificate of publication from a newspaper is dated June 29, 2023, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The affidavit of posting was signed and the date posted was July 12, 2023, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The affidavit of mailing was signed and the date mailed was June 27, 2023, meeting ordinance requirements. The survey has been checked against the petition, the legal notice, and the publication in the newspaper, and all three match. The filing fees have been paid. The endangered species consultation was not required for this petition, and the McHenry County Soil and Water Conservation District report has been received. This would be NRI number L230514511. Just a little background on how the hearing works, especially for members of the public, is that the petitioner will present their testimony, and then they will be asked questions by the board, by the staff, and then if any member of the public would like to ask them questions regarding their testimony, you'll have 3 minutes to do so. You'll come up to this microphone over here, give your name and address in which you reside, and then you can ask questions based on their testimony. After that's all finished, then staff will give their report and the board will ask them questions. After all that's done, if you have comments you want to give regarding this petition, that would be your opportunity to do so. So at that time, again, you'll come up to the microphone, you'll have 3 minutes each person that wants to speak. So if you think you'd like to speak today to ask a question, or the petitioner, or their spokesperson, anybody who will be speaking today, I would like to swear you in, so raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Okay, I will turn it over to the petitioner. Please introduce yourself. This is being recorded. You'll have to turn on your microphone
They
if
are
it's
on.
not on. Okay.
It's on.
Thank you for doing all that, Anna. So, yeah.
Okay, my name is Darko Nikolic, as you said. My petition is for rezoning. When I purchased this property, I started to do something right at that property. That area there was really outgrown, messed up, and with a lot of junk, which I didn't see because it was so outgrown. And I started cleaning it up a little bit. By the time I started cleaning it up, I see more and more stuff is coming out that was hidden in bushes. Then I cleaned it up. I have a motorhome business, which I rent motorhomes, RVs, and since I purchased this big property, my plan was to park my motorhomes, my vehicles there, so I can work from the house. And this is nothing like office. It's only by appointment. If the renter comes to pick up motorhome, they come pick it up and they go. So there is nothing like coming to see motorhome or any side of that. So it's only by appointment. That was my plan. Since I moved in, I have on a daily basis neighbors, customers who just pass by there asking me to park their vehicles like a boat, motorhome, because they cannot park it anywhere. And since I'm on the river, it would be so convenient for them to leave the boat there, and when they wanted to go on the river, it's gonna be easier access for them. So for everybody, my answer was no, I cannot let you do it because I'm not allowed to. I started having this process with the city first, so I can do for my own needs. If I can work there, if I can park my own vehicles. And in the future, if it's allowed to, I would let neighbors around who would like to park their boats, motorhomes, who has a trailer, small trailer, no trucks, no semi-trucks, nothing from that. That has been removed, and only small recreational vehicles, which would probably help a lot of people around it. There is not a lot of parking spaces anywhere around here. So everybody, when they go boating, when it's 4th of July, when it's whatever is anything going on a river, people are parking on the street, left and right, trailers, cars, boats, which it gets a little bit ugly there around the river. And I can probably fix that so that way everybody can park around us here and not to worry about the parking. That was my plan, and I didn't know how everything works from a day one when city, mechanic of city, the office, when they contact me. From a day one, I called them, I called my surveyor, I started doing what they advised me to do. That I needed to do a survey. I did every step by step, whatever the requirements were, because I wanted to do it right. As far as now, I'm here, we're in front of you, all pleading my case. I really would love to get this done and maintain this piece of a property to be nice and clean, not outgrown and to be junkyard as it was before. Plus it would allow me to do what I aiming to do, my work. I'm probably halfway there. I stopped work because I didn't want to do anything. I didn't know what's the process. When I was told to do this, do that, I started doing it, and from day one, that's where I'm at. If anybody has any questions for me, to ask me how or what, I really don't know what else to say. Ask me, it's my first time doing this. I never done anything, not even close like this, so I'm a little bit lost, but I'm going there.
There's certain standards that need to be addressed for this. Maybe Anna, you could put them up on the screen so he could look at them. They're also on page 6 of our staff report.
Mhm.
It's the approval standards for a map amendment. And I'd like you to go through those and address each of those points
Okay.
for the board.
Where are the amendments?
The standards on page 6, if you have the staff report with you, otherwise Anna's putting them up on the screen right now. So, there they are. So you just have to address each of those points.
Okay. I can see back here.
Or? Let's
Yeah,
do
it might
this
be
way.
easier for you to read that from the paper.
So, yeah, these are these.
Okay.
So if you want to read that, that's fine. If you want to read from here, that's fine.
Oh, okay, that's fine. They're
Yeah,
single
yeah.
pages. Okay.
I don't know. Let me see if I can. Hang on.
Bottom right of the screen should have. the
Ah, there we go. Thank you. Somebody's a little more technically savvy than I am. That's
There we
wonderful.
go. Thank you.
There we go,
There
yeah,
we
now
go.
it's-
Okay.
Okay, for A, the comparability of proposed zoning with the existing use and zoning of nearby property. It will allow all neighbors around my property to store their both, whoever asked me for storage and their RVs, any recreational vehicle, boat or RV. A lot of places around us, they're not allowed to park anything in front of their house because of their community and all that. Plus, it's gonna be easier access. Whoever parks the boat is gonna be easier access for them to go to the river, leave the trailer car. The river is right there. The dock across the street. There is marina, the dock, and it's gonna be a lot more convenient for that. I think I've addressed that question as far as I could say.
Okay.
The extent to which property value of the subject property and diminish of existing zone. Okay. Given the size, 2 acres, it cannot really be used for agriculture zoning. It needs to be at least probably 5 acres. So in these 2 acres, it would be, it would have a better purpose to store the recreational vehicles and park on those 2 acres than to do agriculture. For agriculture, I would need probably 5 acres. So it's not too big of area for the property values. That's B.
I think my name's George Barrett, I'm the POS CFM.
You have to speak into the microphone, sir. Again, your name and
My name's
who you
George
are.
Barrett, is this on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. My name's George Barrett, I'm the POS CFM,
Can you explain what that is to me?
professional land surveyor, certified floodplain manager.
Thank you.
And Section 8 of compatibility, that's all been reviewed by stormwater management. There has been topography done. I don't know, Anna, if the engineer submitted to Stolian there was a compensatory storage
Already.
already engineered. I believe
Yeah, I have
Stolian
that.
already has that. Baxter Woodman did the wetland studies. I received an email a couple days ago where the Army Corps of Engineer, they just gave it a number, LRC 2023-404, for jurisdictional inspection, because the overland flow goes to the Fox River, so that's jurisdictional and federal. So Army Corps is going to come out and inspect that. Where the map that you had up, where he's parking his campers, or wants to park his campers and stuff, you can't see it from the road.
It's not visible.
Because of the hedge road, the tree lines that run along South Rawson Bridge Road that run along the south side of West Rawson Bridge, you can't see it. And as long as it is developed according to stormwater and floodplain codes, I don't think he should have a problem putting parking his trucks there. The only concern would be that with the flood code, campers cannot be parked in a floodway or flood zone for more than 180 days at a time, and they have to be ready. Good tires, good brakes, good running condition. They have to be up and ready to roll in case of an emergency flood. And I think we can get that mapped on the ground.
We can avoid that with the RVs,
Yes.
that area.
Yeah, we can map
Again,
that on,
you
map that
can't
on the
just
ground.
keep speaking back and forth. One person has to give
We can get that
testimony.
mapped on the ground and keep
The
it,
other.
mark it out, and he can keep the campers and stuff out of that way, out of the flood zone. But there's already been a compensatory storage study for this project.
Okay, are you moving on to the next points then? What point are you addressing now?
C. The extent to which the public health, safety, and welfare of the public are promoted by existing zoning. No, I don't think so. So my answer is no to that. The relative gain to the public as compared to the hardship imposed upon the applicant if the proposed zoning is denied. Okay. To answer that question, this area is too small for any traditional agriculture, as I said earlier, to be able to do any traditional agriculture there on this spot. It's too small. It's not for that. Okay, to the next question. This visibility of property for the proposed, for which is the present zone. Vacant.
I think you kind of addressed number E when you talked about.
Oh, yeah, E.
Consider.
Yes. E. Yes, that was E. Sorry. The length of the time the property has been vacant as zone, considered in the context of the land development in the vicinity of.
So it's basically asking what's been land development in the area of the subject property.
It's not vacant, not vacant. It's asking me is it vacant, it's not vacant, right? So it's not vacant.
There was, it used to be say.
Again, only one person can give
It used to be
testimony.
something.
Otherwise, you have to identify yourself again for that.
George
transcript.
Barrett. That property was originally part of a very large farm system. In 1939, that whole area, from Rawson Bridge Road, West Rawson Bridge Road, south to the creek was hayfield. 1954 is when they sometime between 39 and 54, the farmhouses were built. There's 3 houses on the parcel that lies in Nunda Township. And where his proposed parking area is, in 1954 is when they built the horse track. And there's been a horse track that was 54, 67, the horse track was still there. And then after the original farmer sold the property, I believe it went to St. Albans. It was a nursery for a while, and then the prior owner to Darko, they kind of ran a little nursery out of it, tree nursery out of the property.
You want to go to point G then?
Plan G, yes.
I think you kind of covered that for your
Yes.
proposed use.
All the similar questions vary to each other.
And how about H?
H is a purpose, consists of the proposed amendment.
Have you looked at the comprehensive plan to see what the plan calls for on your property?
Yes. We looked it up, but I don't think, I think there is a need that wasn't recognized in original plan there for the parking.
So the 2030 plan calls for this to be residential and environmentally sensitive. So this is asking for the consistency of your B3 zoning with the comprehensive plan and their designation of this for residential and environmentally sensitive.
The residential for sensitivity, how is your, what are you talking about? Large lots, small lots? Because,
Residential would be small lots.
okay, that'd be tough to do. Because almost 3/4 of that southern parcel is in floodplain. The floodline comes across and it goes to the northeast, wraps around, and comes up in about 700 feet, roughly 700 feet east of the north-south section line of 32. It kind of hits that, there used to be an old fence line, it hits that and then wraps around and touches that, touches the small house at the southwest corner of Tuxedo and West Rawson Bridge Road. And can they build there? Yeah, probably. Is it going to be expensive? Overly. Because whatever, you're gonna have to deal with floodplain management. A lot of engineering.
Okay, then we'll start with questions from the board, starting on my right. Ms. Beverly.
Thank you. You said that you own an RV business and you rent RVs. Do you have an off-site location where you do that?
Like an office?
Yeah, or like a lot that you work at?
This is online, so there is no really like an office. Everything is done online. I'm like a third party. They book it through the website. It calls RV Share, like example. And on the day of the pickup, they just come and pick up the motorhome.
And they're stored at your house or are they stored somewhere else?
No, that's my motorhome. I store it at my house.
Okay.
That's the reason why I wanted to keep it there.
You used to store it somewhere else.
I used to store it somewhere else before.
And how many do you have stored at your house now?
How many?
Yeah.
I have motorhomes?
Yeah.
Is that a question? Approximately 20 right now. 20 motorhomes.
And you do repair to these on the property?
No, I do, I have an account with Camping World, which is right 5 minutes from us. And all my maintenance, Camping World does it and keep the record of the maintenance. So I don't do the maintenance.
Bill 76 in Darrell.
Only one person speaking.
They are on 176 and what is that? They're a road 4
Okay.
minutes from us.
Because before you said that you were planning on renting RVs from the house, and the plan was to park them there and work on them there. You're not working on the vehicles there?
No, I don't have a shop because the way that the account is set up, I purchase almost all my motor vehicles through Camping World, and I have a warranty with it. And if I do something, I lose that warranty. So they do all the work, all the maintenance, everything. So I don't do anything right now there. I would love to, but I can't. My hands are tied, so I let them do their work.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Mr. Schnabel.
Good afternoon.
I can just answer one more question for her. I can clean them up there. I clean them up. I vacuum and sanitize them, get it ready for the next customer.
I've got a copy of the staff report, this front page picture. Perhaps staff could interject whatever they know. This picture shows several boats and what appear to be a couple campers and what appear to be a number of semi-trailers, maybe a semi-cab, and what may even be a tow truck. I can't quite tell for sure. Can you describe that picture to me a little bit?
Yes, that was a semi-truck. I used to own a trucking company. I owned it for 10 years. I'm out of that business right now, and I'm in motor vehicle business. Those are my vehicles that I had left over when I closed the company, and now I removed them all from the property. There is no trailers there anymore. That white vehicle is also semi-truck. It just had mounted kind of a hitch, tow hitch on the back.
So
And
my
that was-
eyes weren't too far off.
Yes, so that was temporarily there. Right now, there is only one semi-truck, and that's gonna be also removed, and from semi-trucks and trailers, that's it.
Where was your trucking company based out of, where you owned it?
Mount Prospect.
That's all I have for the moment, thank you.
Ms. Gardner.
Okay, so you said that right now you have probably, did you say 20 motorhomes on
Yes.
your property right now? Do you own these, or are these?
I own them.
You own all these,
All these motorhomes.
so you rent them out to people, is that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me wrap my head around that for a moment. Can you kind of give us an idea on that picture? How much of that land you cleared away?
As much as you see right now on the picture, that is clear. Up in the left corner, where that hill is, kind of, that used to be a hill, I just flattened that there and cleared it up, and that was it. So that's the area that you see, nothing more, nothing less.
So everything else other than that upper left corner was existing when,
Yes, the existing, it wasn't existing. The existing was that hill, and existing was here where you see that clear area.
is
So,
it gravel?
no, it was, it had a few roads there first. It was a few roads going back and forth from who knows what. And it was big bushes, and right in between the roads, it was like a old trailer or old dishwasher, old bike, old car, old barrels, all the junk that they could put, they were putting there. So when I started cleaning it, I kind of got an idea, and I could have seen the other side from all of that. And then I just took all the bushes that were growing, all that weed, and make it to be clean.
Okay,
That's it, and I put that gravel there.
so that is gravel.
Yes.
Okay.
I put that before City of McHenry advised me what I should do, because I was not aware of that I need to do anything or apply for anything. And when I had the letter, the next day I called them and I stopped doing whatever I was doing
Okay,
and started the right process.
so your trucking company that you said was in Mount Prospect,
Yes, ma'am.
is that Cook County?
That is Cooktown.
They have a lot more rules there than we have here.
Yes. I never worked out of this location with trucking. This was, I closed down before I moved in here, and this was my leftover.
Right, I'm not concerned with that.
Yes, and all that been removed.
Okay. Now, your plan is to not only have all these 20 RVs that you have on the property now, but to have other people come in and rent space to park their boats and RVs?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to expand your business in that way?
If it's possible, yes.
Right, I'm just asking what you want.
Yes.
I'm not saying you can do it.
Whatever possibilities allow me.
Yeah, okay,
I cannot say I want to do this if I'm not allowed to do that.
okay. How long have you owned this property?
2 years.
Okay, and now what we're seeing up there with the yellow line, is that the extent of your property, or is there
That's a
property
part.
beyond?
That's a
What?
portion
Just a
of it.
portion of
That's a
it.
portion of it. How
Yes.
large is the whole property?
About 11 acres.
So you have quite a bit of room.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's all I have, thank you.
Before we proceed, I just have a question for staff. Based on the testimony, it seems to me that really what he wants is a storage yard. And a storage yard is only allowed with a conditional use in B3, and otherwise it's a permitted use in I2 and I1.
So we had originally advised a conditional use permit early on. The applicant made an application for the B3.
Okay. So the B3 allows for anything in our ordinance under B3.
That is correct.
But for what he wants to do, he would not be able to do that without a conditional use in a B3 zone.
Correct.
Okay, I'll continue with questioning Mr. Eldridge.
I just have one question as a matter of clarification. You live on the site? You live in the house on the site?
Yes, just up north.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Cozen?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just to clarify, you had purchased this property 2021?
2020, I think it was.
So it's 3 years then?
This would be, or 2021, it was, let me just rewind my 2023. It was in 2021. It was July, August, somewhere in there. So it was in 21.
Before the purchase, did you visit the property, see the property?
Yes.
So you were aware of the condition of the property prior to the purchase?
Yes, I was aware of half of it. Half of this lot I couldn't even get to. I was so outgrown.
Were you represented by counsel at your closing at the time of the purchase?
Yes.
Did you consult with any other experts at the time of the closing? Land surveyor, engineer?
I didn't. I talked to their surveyor that they had, and I talked to inspector that was inspecting the property. That was a company, I forgot the name, that I hired, and for my uses, and that was it.
Just to clarify, they're meaning the seller
The seller, yes.
and inspector?
Inspector was from my side that I hired.
What kind of inspector?
To check the property, the houses, the well, all that is needed on one property to be livable there and to be right.
But you had no inspector or consultant relative to stormwater?
No, I have not aware of, I was not aware of that.
And did you receive a plat of survey of the property at the time of closing?
Yes, which was not completely done until this year. I was chasing that company, the surveyor company. They didn't corner it and a couple of other things, so I never got the original one. It was just a copy.
So only to this year you know the boundaries of your property?
Correct.
And your property, excuse me. You use the term junkyard. Is that a term that you've defined, or did somebody describe that for you?
I described it. For me, it was junkyard because when you throw stuff around and just leave them there, so that's my word.
And your background is, previously was managing a trucking service in Mount Prospect?
Yes.
So you have no background in stormwater management, landscaping, or topography or drainage?
No, sir. That's why I hired today Mr. George for that, because I have no knowledge of that. Where I don't know, I hire somebody to do it.
And that would be 3 years after you purchased the property?
That would be, yes,
Without benefit of a survey?
yes. We couldn't get that survey. I chased them for over a year to corner, to map it, to finish it. And finally, if the George didn't come in, I wouldn't even probably get it. The rate. Let's see, here.
George Barrett. When Darko first hired me, it was right after he was red tagged by the county. And he hired me to do a topography, and I took the topographic information, forwarded to an engineer that completed a compensatory storage study and wrote up a plan. And when Darko hired me, he handed me the survey that he had from the closing, and the survey was incomplete. It didn't meet any of the Illinois standards. And there's an issue on West Rawson Bridge Road. I have the original 1980 centerline survey that was done by a company out of Springfield. And their legal description comes from section 32 along the center line of the road, 724 feet. Okay. The reason for that center line survey is that's right around the time that was the time when they moved the old Rawson Bridge. They removed the steel bridge, built a new one. Now, 1980, again, McHenry County Highway Department had a legal description written because they took portion of the land where Tuxedo Lane comes out on the West Rawson Bridge, because Tuxedo Lane never exited out on, never went to West Rawson Bridge Road. It dead end a couple hundred feet southeast. The entrance to Tuxedo Beach subdivision is off of Hickory Nut Lane. And you're supposed to go drive all the way up there. Well, apparently I believe it was the owner who did the subdivision. They dredged out Lagoon Park And then northwest, they went up, and you'll see on the map, there's a little dip, little lagoon or bay dug out. That's where the road was supposed to cross. And they did that so nobody up in the front could come down, across.
Does this have anything to do with the actual finishing of the survey?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Because the center line says 724 feet. McHenry County Highway Department says 709 feet. I'm measuring 700 feet. Okay, McHenry, and then from that old fence line, you're supposed to come down 24 feet. Okay, there's 2 concrete monuments there. Then you're supposed to go 2 feet to where the curve starts. Okay, now McHenry County Highway Department, their description says 19.6 feet. Okay, so there's a whole lot of going on up in that front there. And so what I did is that we're in Algonquin Township, that's what we're dealing with. So I have surveyed all around it. I still haven't figured out what to do with up north. And so I established the township line.
Getting back to Mr. Cozen's question, are you saying then that the survey, although complete, is not correct?
I don't believe it is.
Okay.
Because I asked the surveyor if they did any of the section work.
Are any of these issues you're describing affecting the parcel that we have before us today?
No, you were asking about his survey, which his original survey contained the whole, it's roughly about 10 acres.
For the whole
Okay,
property.
but
For the whole,
all of these
but
issues
we're-
are outside the area of today's petition?
it is, because that's why I kept everything in Algonquin Township.
Then we don't need to hear that.
No.
So thank you for giving a focus, because there is this attachment to the staff report of a plat of survey. Is it at least correct enough that it is accurate to show that there is a creek comprising the southern boundary of the property?
It is.
Is it accurate enough to show that there's a driveway on the east side of the roadway?
That is.
And that would be the driveway that commercial vehicles or people would bring in terms of the return?
Yes.
And
That is accurate right there.
this survey, given that you mentioned it's in Algonquin Township, there is a culvert under that roadway as illustrated under that survey, is there not?
Yes.
What is not illustrated, and I don't know if my memory is correct, is that there's a guardrail that runs along the west side of the roadway in that location. Is that correct?
Yes.
So there's a guardrail in the location of a proposed business driveway pulling RV vehicles under rental?
The guardrail runs over the culvert. That's to keep people from crashing into the creek. Driveway's one.
A creek that recently was encroached upon by filling and other material? Was this the creek that the Army Corps of Engineers was notified of?
Yeah, they were notified because of wetlands. It's their jurisdiction to, because Baxter Woodman came out and they did the wetland study. And county has a copy of that report.
I think that, I conclude. Thank you.
Mr. Jers, any questions?
Thank you. That's the benefit of being the last, because more than several of my questions have already been answered. One of them was the total acres owned. You own 10 plus acres. You want to rezone 2.2, part of which, according to the colored one with the green on the bottom, part of this 2.2 they call high-quality wetlands. That's the green slash marks down there. It wouldn't hurt your business to exclude that from this application, would it? If they're calling it high-quality wetlands, do you want to be parking RVs on it?
To answer that question, I don't have to park there.
You don't, it's just inside the yellow line and it's there.
Yes, I can
If it
park.
went away, it wouldn't hurt you.
It's George Barrett again. According to Baxter Woodman, where they marked their flags, and the county does have a copy of the topography with the wetland located on it. Baxter Woodman located the wetland basically just above the top of the bank of the creek on the north side, which you can see that green line goes way past that. And those maps that the county puts on the GIS, I'd say those are reference.
I understand that.
They're
I'm
not-
a real estate
but that's-
professional, and they're
but that-
aggressive with that.
That's the reason why we have Baxter Woodman come out there, do the wetland study, and because it's jurisdictional, Darko was not.
I'm with you.
Darko was not
Yeah.
informed that he had to
Yeah.
go
You
out.
get the privilege
I
of
did
paying
that.
taxes on it and keeping it low, but don't try to use it for anything. I'm with you there. So if it went to 1.7 acres, you're
We
still
could-
in, right?
We could do.
Okay. All right, I have, the B3, I think Anna answered that question. They applied for a special use and changed it to a B3?
They did not apply,
They
they were advised,
advised by the staff
correct?
to go B3 instead of special use.
No. We had advised that they go for the conditional use permit in conjunction with the rezoning.
Okay, now, splitting hairs here. If you're selling or leasing motorhomes that you own, or if you're brokering motorhomes, like kind of a Uber type of a deal, those things come and go, they don't sit on your property a long time. I get it, they're gonna sit there through the winter when there's snow on it.
Yes. In the summertime, right now, there is not even 3.
Okay, I'm a former motorhome owner, so
In the wintertime, yes.
I miss my motorhome, it was part of the family.
You have to winterize it and you have to park it.
Yeah, okay. The neighboring properties that have RVs and boats and wave runners and whatever, do you think you got enough neighbors to just have a storage business and be a viable business?
Yes, sir. On a daily basis, people that they drive by, that they go to work and they drive by here, and they're all
Okay.
local.
So I think I'm agreeing with Anna that if you're storing other people's stuff, it's a little bit different of a business than leasing out vehicles that you own, or if you want to sell them or lease them, that's your iron and you're responsible for it. But when you got somebody else's stuff parked there, you have a liability issue, and that's between you and your insurance agent. But the county, that's I say we're splitting hairs between a storage yard, which is going to need a special use, or sales and leasing, which is your iron, which B3 is okay. So if you got the B3 without the special use, you're not in the storage business anymore. You're going to need B3 with the special use. I'm not trying to get too detailed, but they got a book about this thing. I don't carry it with me. Linnea's got it. She knows this thing back and forth. She's got little tabs on the pages. She'd go right to it. But if you're going to be storing other people's stuff, that's a different
I can
business.
clarify, if you'd like,
Yeah.
the definition for a storage yard. A facility for outdoor storage, including items for sale, lease, processing, and repair, where such facility is the principal use of the property. So there's no home, there's nothing else in this property, it's just a storage yard.
Yeah,
And
so
that is not allowed by right in a B3 zoning. You
yeah,
need
he
a
needs
conditional
special
use
use with the B3.
with the B3 zone.
So I guess I'm on track and I understood that. I'm the newbie on this whole thing, but
You have
been
a
around the
question?
block a little bit.
Yep.
Do you have access to the water on this 10 acre? Can you get to the Fox?
Yes,
There's a channel?
yes, there is, right on the up left corner, there is a Fox River and right there. So the whole property,
Anna, can you zoom that out?
That's as far as I can zoom in.
Okay.
I can.
I think there's a boat walk.
And is that navigable? You can come to your property by boat?
You can, what people would do probably, there is a slip right across there. There is marina also, and that's where they go. They put the boat there, but they don't have a big parking. They only can.
There is a marina, how far from you?
Right across.
Across the street.
Right on Beach Street.
Right over here.
Again, you can't be interchangeably talking.
Okay.
One
If
person
you can
talks.
point to that marina,
This is the whole.
that's the marina.
Yes.
I point to your property.
From here, like that, this is the whole my property. And this
So
is
it's
a beach.
within 1,000 feet or
Yes,
whatever?
this is,
Okay.
yeah, this is a beach right here. And this is the proposed area where I wanted to zone.
Okay.
So the whole area is my.
Production egg, there's no production egg left in Cary, Illinois, is there? Where's the closest farmer to you?
Closest farm, I think it's on the same Ralston Bridge, just past the bridge, go Ralston, past the light, and maybe half mile down the road.
Half mile.
farms, so, yeah,
Okay.
so-
The last time your property, now you've owned it 2 years, you're saying?
Yes.
All right, do you know a little bit of the prior history of that?
Yes, Mr. George.
Okay, the last time your property was used for agriculture, was that the Sullivan Boys? St. Audit Nursery?
Yes.
That's nursery stock. That's the last time an agricultural use was on this property. So when the nursery stock went, the ag went.
Yeah, the last previous owner.
Okay. Did you buy it from St. Aubin? Or did they lease it?
No, I bought from.
Okay. But the last time it was agriculture was nursery stock?
Yes.
Correct, okay. And you haven't considered using, maybe you have, but it's kind of like spitting in the wind, doing any kind of agricultural use on this property?
I have chickens.
You have what?
Chickens.
Oh,
I have like a lot of chickens there. They're going around, and I give eggs to my neighbors also because I have too many eggs and I don't want to throw
Okay.
away. So. Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
But
Also-
you don't need 2.2 acres for,
No, not
Flock
that.
chickens.
That is a totally different section in the area. I also have 2 goats.
2 goats.
Yeah.
You don't have to put gas in them to mow the lawn. Okay, I like that. All right, we've addressed the B3 with the special use. If you got the B3, like today, and then it went to the county, then you'd have to be coming back for a special use on the B3
Permit.
to have other people's iron on your property.
If I don't do that, then
If you don't do customer storage, are you happy with B3 for just your own vehicles?
for right now, yes.
Okay. Would you do that in the future?
Yes.
Okay.
The only reason why I was asking that some other neighbors can park it, they see I have a big property, they see that I clean it up, and they say, oh, you cannot let me park my boat here, I'm your neighbor right across. And I tell them I'm not allowed to do that, and then I'm bad guy,
Oh,
bad
yeah.
neighbor. But, and in that case,
Besides the marina, which is, the marina's zone what? The one that he pointed to.
half-acre
I
probably.
mean, what's their zoning? They're close by.
Looks like that's a B1 that's in that area there.
They're in B1. Okay. Within what, quarter mile?
Less.
Hundreds of feet. Okay. I noticed for you on that end of the table, is like intimidating. We're trying to make it not be, okay? But I think you've answered all my questions, and, you know, you've been in a couple different businesses. You were in trucking.
Yeah, I owned a trucking business. I had a fleet of 35 semi-trucks. I owned them.
That's another hat I wear. I'm not
Yes.
familiar with that.
Yes, and I just got out that business because I've been working for 10
But
years and it's too
if you
stressful.
were hauling grain, you could put 30 trucks on this property with 42-foot grain trailers, and it'd be A1, and we wouldn't be talking about a rezoning.
Yes, but I'm not planning to.
You're not getting back in the trucking business, you
No.
like RVs. I do too.
You know, when you had it enough, you had it enough.
Yeah.
I used to drive also trucks, and there are times during owning the company and driving that I couldn't just sleep at night. That you are so stressful through the day that you can't sleep. And this business, I love it.
RVs
I
are
work with
fun.
most beautiful people and people that go on vacation, that are happy, that are, you know,
You meet some.
and I love it.
I'm with you. You meet some of the nicest people in RV park. Thank you. You answered all my questions.
Okay, my only question is, you have some violations on this property and also the property to the north where your homes are.
Yes.
It looks like from the staff analysis that you have 3 single-family detached residences with several outbuildings to the north, and you own that, and that's part of this other acreage.
Yes.
And it looks like you had a violation on that part of it regarding outdoor storage?
Yes.
That you were storing vehicles there in violation?
That was, those are my vehicles, and that was the violation for the same property that we're trying to rezone.
And the violation on this property was for disturbing wetlands and floodplain without a permit?
Yes.
Okay.
I started work before I asked.
Okay, but the staff report says there's an open ordinance violation on the property to the north, which is also owned by you. And that's
Yes.
where, that was regarding outdoor storage?
No, that's the house. That's the one of the houses we started to remodel, and that was for the porch. It was a front porch, probably 3 feet by 3 feet, that was put down. And my workers, they put it back up at the new one, and that was violation for that. So I took it off down. Now I should be out of violation, and they wanted me to apply for a permit for that deck, which we already did, and we have a permit for that piece of the deck, 3 by 3, I think. As far as I know, there is no other violation here.
Okay, my other questions are for staff. So if any member of the public or staff, do you have any questions?
Yes. So I forget which board member it was, but one of them had asked about the driveway off of South Boston Bridge Road. And I believe George, who had said that it's existing, but I think that it's actually listed here as proposed.
Yes,
Clarify that?
it's proposed.
That proposed driveway there, it's proposed, and that was inspected and approved by Algonquin Township Highway Department.
And I have a permit also.
And is
Oh,
it?
show them the permit.
I already have a permit.
Can't be talking to people.
So is that driveway existing, or you just have a permit to install it at some point?
He's got the permit, he's got the permission to install it.
But it's not physically there?
It's not there yet.
Okay. But I just wanted clarification.
Yes, I didn't want to do anything until we sit and talk here. But I did take the permit for that drive-in and was approved.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but we do have staff that's listening in on this conversation. And I have been advised that a determination that this type of storage yard is actually a RV storage, but it's under the definition of heavy retail sales, which is permitted by right in the B3.
Heavy retail sales?
That's what staff had indicated, yes.
Because he's selling?
I believe because it's an off-site situation where,
The definition for heavy retail sales and service, a business that sells, rents, or services heavy vehicles and equipment, sells lumber, or sells construction supplies on a large scale with outdoor service or storage areas.
so it's the heavy equipment aspect that I believe that they were leaning on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that then.
So for everyone, by that definition, this would be allowed by right. No conditional use permit would be required under that.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Any other questions?
No questions at this time.
Okay, any members of the public have questions? Yeah.
Just the, for Anna, I'll try to speak up. The zoning map that is attached to the staff report shows another B, general business district along Rousen Road Bridge. And I'd be impressed if you could tell us what use that business district is.
I'd be impressed too if I could tell you. I don't know what that use is.
Is it possible it's the golf course that is located on the east side of, and we can wait if that.
Yeah.
No, excuse me.
Let's just, we'll just tackle that later at another time. We'll go
No,
through with a question
I
into the
think that-
public.
I think that's the old River Bend restaurant that's been torn down. That's Hickory Nut Grove Lane, the corner piece at Hickory Nut and South Rawson Bridge, that used to be Hybrid's Nursery. That gray square, that was my buddy who's a retired surveyor. And then that orange piece there, that I believe that's the old River Bend property.
Okay, we're going to move on to questions from the public. Anyone that would like to ask questions, if you would like to come up to the microphone. Is there anyone with questions? Yeah, come on up, identify yourself, your name and address, and any questions for the petitioner.
Good afternoon. My name is Susan Monroe. I live in Kingsbridge subdivision. It is on the, well, it's the south and west of this property. If we can put the former presentation up there, where we go? Okay, next, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The one that showed kind of where he told me there was his marina where you live. Okay, so I'm terrible with maps, but let's go. Okay, so I live here. The Four Paws is the neighbor. She does dog walking. So this is my neighborhood, and Stacy right here is my next door neighbor. Both our husbands are members of the board. They cannot be here because they are at work. I've lived in Kingsbridge since 2005.
You have questions. This is for questions, correct?
Pardon me? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
My question is for this gentleman. You said you bought the property. I do know the former owners. I knew them, acquaintances. I went to their child's wedding. The place was a 1950s bungalow farmhouse. Very nice, very, and I don't really know what happened between the time that they sold and then you have it. But all we noticed, it was deteriorating. This area is also kind of close to a place called Broken
Question.
Oar. Yeah.
Question.
Oh,
You can
okay.
ask him a question.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna start with quick. You said that you bought in 2020, correct?
2021.
2021. Okay. Why did you put up a winter wonderland with an ice skating rink and all these lights at your property? Were you able to get permission to do that?
No, those are my Christmas decorations that everywhere I live, I love Christmas.
Yeah, it's
Most of
apparent.
people love it. And all I did is all the decorations that I had for my previous property, I put them up. And since I have a big property in the driveway, why not let everybody enjoy it?
Yeah.
Drive through it, have kids play. My kids,
And how much were you charging for people to drive through your property and go on that ice skating rink?
I haven't charged anything.
Okay, it was
It
free.
was
Well, we
free.
saw that it was,
It's
Hey.
free. There is donation box if anybody wants to donate anything, and they can donate anything. And I put that use and purchase. That's how I built this ice rink, because I did it in 21.
Did you
Your
have?
questions have to be regarding his testimony for this rezoning.
Okay, and then also you did a summer camp Wonderland with a candy store in your property. Did you receive permission from any board member or county to be able to have children come out there and have access to jumpies?
We are really only taking questions
Okay.
on the testimony and the property in question right now. So whatever he has said so far, if you have a question about that, or
Okay, the
his,
question I have is the amount of traffic that will be going on the South Rawson and West Rawson, and then there's a three-way intersection that our board had a stop sign put up because it became so dangerous, the traffic. The question is, when people come here and park their vehicles, how are they going to get in and out of that small, dilapidated, circular driveway that you have? And do you feel that it is hazardous to the other people who are in the neighborhood adjacent, going to and from other places, maybe across the road?
No, to answer that question, they're not gonna be entering to existing driveway. There is a map and a survey that was approved by McHenry Highway Department for a new driveway, where it's gonna be safe for everybody to get in and get out. So it's not gonna be small driveway that nobody can get in or out and to cause any line disturbance or anything like that.
And then also you said that when you bought this house, it had just junk and it was a junkyard. It still is a junkyard in our opinion. Why have you
okay,
not
it's been
gotten
3
rid of all the
minutes, your
stuff
time
that's-
is up.
Okay.
Sorry.
Does anyone else have a question? Yes.
These questions are personal.
Hi, my name's Sherry Patiasik. I live at 6103 South Rawsonbridge Road. I'm directly across South Rawsonbridge Road from this property. Could you go back to the picture that was up when we came in? Okay, this here, is any of this paved or is this dirt or what's the surface in there?
It's a paver.
A paver?
Oh, yes, gravel.
Small gravel?
Yes, however they call it gravel, yes,
Okay.
gravel.
And
Like,
how, compared to that picture, what do you have stored there right now, today?
today, there is one truck, motorhomes, my motorhomes, and there is not that many motorhomes because they're almost all on the road. And there is no boat there. All those boats from there that you see on the picture, they're removed. All those trailers, the semi-trailers are removed. So basically right now, just RVs and a truck, one semi-truck.
Okay, and you said that there's no office there, but you rent to people, it's strictly online?
Yes.
What address do you give them to come and pick up their RVs?
What address? I give them the front address,
What is the front address?
920.
Okay, and are you saying the front address is the house that is closest to this pool?
That's 1009.
That's 1009?
Yes, that's 1009
Okay,
and
so you
920.
give them 920, which is the tiny little house that is right on the corner of Tuxedo Lane and Rawsonbridge Road?
Yes, I had that changed in a county, in a McHenry.
Does that help your renters find your property?
Yes, it will help, and I don't know if they
Are
changed it
your house
yet.
numbers on the other two houses on the property?
Yes.
So you're certain that your renters are finding your property and not
Yes.
turning around in my driveway and running over my sprinkler heads?
They should, and if they use, this is the problem with the iPhone and Android. iPhone uses different map and iPhone takes them somewhere else. Google Map, which is up to date, it takes them right where it needs to go.
Okay.
So,
But
I-
on the notice that I received by certified mail, it said you could be reached at 920 Rawsonbridge Road,
yes.
which is the tiny little house that hasn't been inhabited since you lived there. There's no house numbers on the other two addresses. Which home do you live in?
1009. That
How
timing
long have
from-
you lived there? How long have you resided there personally, spending the night and living at
About
that
a
property?
year. About a year. 920 has been changed, and I requested that here in the office.
But
to
you
be-
left the numbers on the house?
On the house, I don't know if it's on the house.
They were there
There's a
yesterday.
mailbox, yes, so it's there.
Okay, your time is up.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Go ahead, sir. Or ma'am.
Hi, I'm Stacy Sassine. I live in Kingsbridge subdivision right across from this property. You asked pretty much all the questions I was planning to ask. I was just curious, you have a number of business signs up on your property along both sides. Can you share what businesses that you're running from your property?
I removed them. City warned me about that sign. My wife business is Bouncy House. We rent bouncy houses. People, they don't come here. We take it to their houses or parks. So as a new in the area, we put a sign to promote ourselves. The city told us we cannot do that, and we're not gonna do that. I also had a sign for chickens that I have eggs. I also put that down as well, and all the signs that I had for work, I'm gonna put them down. So
And is there also a Wonderland sign and candy shop sign?
no, Wonderland sign was in Christmas time. Yes, right on the corner. Candy shop. There is no candy shop in there. It's just says candy shop, like a kids candy shop, so there is no like any sales or anything like that. It was something that I put for kids, decorational, like that candy shop. So if you went through a property, you could have seen it, what it means by candy shop. I even had a playhouse, small playhouse, and I don't know, they're just decorations, so it was no any money involved anywhere there. Nobody paid anything. I even had, from all the donations that they had me, I dressed up myself in a Santa, and I made gifts for kids, like small bags. I went in a dollar store, and that was free. I was giving them to the kids free. Everybody who was passing by in that time when I was dressed up as a Santa, I was giving them gifts for free. Nobody paid ever anything there.
Anybody else have questions? Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Christoph Padiasek. I'm Sherry's husband. I live across the street at 6103 South Rosslyn Bridge Road.
Can you speak more into the mic?
So the question I have for you, sir, is you mentioned that you can't see anything from the property. Have you been looking at the property from the road when there are no leaves on the trees? Because you can see everything on that property. It's extremely unsightly. I'm asking if you've seen the property from either my point of view as the homeowner or the street itself during when there's no leaves.
What I was planning there also, I was planning to put arborvitaes, just to plant them, is to make it nice, small 6 feet arborvitaes. But in the winter time, of course, you can probably see it through. And I'm not hiding anything there, and I'm not doing anything illegal to be hiding from people. Or when he mentioned that you can't see it from the road, it was just added to the subject that we were talking about.
The proposed driveway that you have in your plans, where exactly will this driveway for entry and exit for these vehicles will be?
It's gonna be not across, as you can see on the map, so it's gonna be south from your driveway.
Over here?
No, it's
Oh,
drawn right there. You see where it's drawn?
Over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
That's
the
it right
proposed
there.
driveway?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was approved by Algonquin Township.
That was approved, and here is by Algonquin Township, because I asked them where it would be the safest. I went to their office, they went out there, they surveyed it, they told me, and approved it. So.
Did you do any traffic studies with the added driveway as far as the amount of traffic with the big vehicles?
Not me, as far as if that's their part of a job.
Okay, so the added, so you didn't
highway-
do any studies on the added traffic that may or may not come through because of your business?
Well,
It's a
Can you
yes or
put the
no answer.
microphone in front of you, Darko? Can you put the microphone more in front of you and speak directly into it? Great, thank you.
It's a yes or no answer, I'm just asking if you've done it.
no, I didn't do any studies, that's why I had a highway department, because right now, there is way higher, it's already, people are driving there crazy. Maybe even this, adding a driveway.
Which is why I'm asking if you've done a traffic study with the proposed addition of your traffic
He
coming
said no.
in. Okay. The other question is, you mentioned that you've removed all the signs. I don't know if the board has been by that property or not, but I suggest you guys do go by it for a better view of what it actually looks like. Have you removed the Winter Wonderland sign that's spray painted on the brick
That's your
gate?
last question.
That is just painted, it's not a sign, it's kids play. It doesn't advertise anything there, it doesn't. It's a board, well, like a white board that kids sprayed it with it and
Since the
says
answers are
something.
elongated, can I have one more question?
No, your time is up.
Okay.
You can make a statement later.
Okay. Thank you.
So now we'll turn to the staff for the staff report. Anna, can you summarize your staff report, please?
Okay, the subject property is currently zoned A1. There's A1 to the north, to the east, and to the south. There is a state classification to the west there. Surrounding land uses, this subject property was originally classified as vacant at the time that our land use maps were put together. Again, it's an open space to the south, a little bit to the north, and to the east and west are all also classified as open space, primarily due to conservation-owned lands in that area. Future land use, there is a portion of this subject property that is classified as residential, with a large portion of it listed as environmentally sensitive area. As noted, the limits of the environmentally sensitive area would have to be examined and better defined during the permitting process. There have been some questions about how rural the area may or may not look in this area. These are photos that were taken on July the 10th from all four cardinal directions. These photos were taken just a little bit north of the culvert that's there. Staff will note that not on the subject property, but there are signs that are on the other property owned by the applicant that were there on July the 10th. And I have asked our staff to investigate those signage, but that has nothing to do
Could you
with
speak up a
today's.
little louder?
Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Those signs have nothing to do with today's application. They are not on the subject property.
Yes.
Staff is recommending denial of this request.
Okay, questions from board members for staff? Go ahead, Mr. Eldridge.
What is the status? There is an open RFS.
There are a couple of open RFSs. The stormwater one is pending the outcome of this particular hearing. If the use is not allowed, then there's no reason to pursue the stormwater violation there. They would have to clean that up and bring it back to whatever status the stormwater division says. The outdoor storage originated on the northern lot and does extend slightly onto this lot. It's my understanding that the applicant had applied for this rezoning in an attempt to move stuff from that northern lot to this lot to correct that violation.
There are no RFSs on other parts of this property?
The only RFS on this particular, on the subject property is the stormwater.
Okay, and the outdoor storage one encroaches on this property a little bit.
I know that it encroaches on the pen, I don't know how far onto the subject property it extends, but from the aerials, it does look like it does extend into the subject property.
Thank you.
Anna, can you go to the land use, map of the land use?
You want the future or
The surrounding land use.
Okay.
So it looks like the nearest commercial zone property is that little red square on the river?
Okay, so this map is surrounding land use, not zoning. Do you want me to go to the zoning map?
No, commercial land use.
Okay, so the commercial land use, yes. The area that was described as the marina is that little orangish spot there, yes.
Okay, and then can you go to the zoning map? Okay, and so then that marina looks like it's zone B1 neighborhood business, and maybe like across the road, there's a little pinkish area across from the marina?
Correct.
Is that all part of the marina, or is that some other little business?
My recollection is that they are owned by the same property owner. I know that there are RFSs on those properties as well, but I don't remember the details associated with those.
But looking at the two maps, it appears that the part across the road may have been zoned for business, but isn't currently used for business. Would that be correct?
Keep in mind that the existing land use map that's on here is at least 10 years old because it was done last time the comprehensive plan was updated.
Okay.
When you did your staff report, did you look to see if there's any different trends in this area versus what's already there? Any changes in the last 10 years that would be different from what these maps would show?
No, I did not do that analysis.
Okay. And then looking at the land use plan, can you bring that one up? Okay, so all that green area, is that owned by the Conservation District around here?
The lighter green as opposed to the dark green,
Correct.
a good portion of that is owned. I can't say definitively that all of that is.
Okay.
Ma'am?
All right, and then, no, this is not for you, sir. This is only between staff and us. And then the darker green, that's part of the subject parcel, that's the environment sensitive area because of wetlands and floodplains and
Correct.
all that sort of thing.
Correct.
Also, it looks like 100% of this site is a strategic aquifer recharge area.
Correct.
So moderate contamination potential to aquifers of
Correct.
things on this site. All right. And your staff assessment is that this is inconsistent with the development pattern of the area, and because of the floodplain and wetlands and the entire site in the Sarah area?
Correct.
Right. No other questions by the board for Skip?
Could I have a question for the?
No, that is done. We're now
We're done
going
with
to
questions.
comments by the public.
Okay, when, I have a list of like 5 conditions that if this was passed, would they abide by them?
We can't do.
We can't do that. We can't do that, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So may I clarify for Mr. Juris on that?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So this is a reclassification. No conditions can be placed on a reclassification. The only time that we can do conditions is if it's a conditional use permit.
Okay.
And another question for you then, Anna, just to clarify. So if this is zoned to B3, He can do anything that's allowed in B3
That's
on this
correct.
parcel. It doesn't have to be storage yard, anything in our ordinance that allowed B3, which tend to be, you know, larger industrial or larger commercial uses.
Larger
Correct.
commercial type uses, yes, yeah.
Okay. So now it's time for any public that would like to make a statement. Again, you have 3 minutes. You're welcome to come up to the microphone.
Sherry Padiasik again, 6103 South Rawson Bridge. My husband and I bought our home in October of 2019. It was surrounded by trees, just the natural grasses, a beautiful property, very rural, quiet
Can you
neighbors.
point it out exactly where it's at?
I am right here, the A and the D,
Okay.
across from this property. It was beautiful. We thought nothing else could be built around us. Everything was quiet. It breaks my heart to hear this gentleman refer to that place as a junkyard. It was just trees, a lot of brush. It was heavy shrubbery, but that's what it is all around us. It's rural, a lot of wildlife. Since the gentleman has moved in, it's constant construction noises. It's hammering, it's sawing, it's machines going all the time. He has chickens that are less than a foot from the road. We have had 2 dead chickens this summer on our property, I'm sure was carried over from his. I feel like it's a nuisance property now, the entire thing. It's unsightly. The Wonderland that he does for Christmas time, it's fabulous for Christmas time. It's up year round. There are snowflakes hanging from a tree right now. There's the very unsightly sign that he's calling a whiteboard, I'm not sure what it is, spray painted, very like a child did it. The property looks horrible. He has lawnmowers all over his property. It looks like they start mowing, and the minute the mower dies or runs out of gas, they get off of it, and it sits there for weeks. He has 7 or 8 riding lawnmowers. It's just, there are structures built on that property now that look like little sheds. The bounce house thing advertised at the corner. I mean, I feel like if you can't be a good neighbor right now, what kind of business owner are you going to be on that property? Because it seems like it would be opening the door, carte blanche, to anything going on right there. And it's very quiet in that neighborhood. We love it. I mean, that's why we moved there. And honestly, if that property would have been there looking that way when we bought our home, I don't know that we would have bought it. We're just heartbroken at the condition of the property right now. Thank you.
Can I address something?
No, this is their opportunity.
They're
Go
like
ahead.
Mexican, they're in the middle house.
Crystal Padiasik, again, 161 South Rawson Bridge Road. Just to add on to what my wife said, if the gentleman is looking to open a business to better the neighborhood because of boats and RVs and whatever else, the number of neighbors that have boats and RVs, I think is very small because of the distances between the certain areas that are around that property. The marina that the person has referred to is not in use because they're shut down because of their septic system not working properly. So the reasons or the points of request, I guess, to approve this are not very valid. This property is not built around business zones, I guess. It's all mostly residential and wetlands, as we've discussed already today. This will not fit, it does not fit, it never fit, it shouldn't fit going forward. The Christmas decor, as my wife mentioned, is there. Construction noises, dogs barking on the property at night. We've actually sent the McHenry County Sheriff's Office there once because of dogs barking during the winter time. We're concerned about the actual purpose behind owning that property in the area that it's in. We don't know if there's a dog breeding going on, but there's a constant noise of puppies that is heard in the evening hours. As far as the gentleman living there on the property, I have not seen anybody actually living there. When you see signs of living, you see kids playing, you see people gardening, you see cars coming and going, cars being washed, things like that. All we ever hear is construction noise. There's a white pickup truck that comes at 6 o'clock in the morning, leaves about 5, 7 p.m. There are no regular lights on, lights off. There's no music playing as far as, maybe a party. There's never been a family party. It's concerning that this property is actually being used for strictly business and not actually residential, that it's designed to be with the 3 homes on that property. As I mentioned earlier, I strongly suggest the board drives by that property to see it as it is today. We have a few pictures, however, I don't know if that's going to be relevant at this point. The gentleman mentioned that he's removed the signs. My wife mentioned the sign that's spray painted. There's another house, bounce house sign on the corner of Rawson Bridge Road and South Rawson Ridge Road. There's a for sale sign on the Rawson Bridge leading towards the bridge. We don't know what's for sale. So it's just overall concern for property values and just the unsightliness, especially during winter. You mentioned that you may not, you're not going to be able to see stuff, but during winter you see everything right through the trees, and it's bad for business, bad for the residents. If you follow any Facebook forums, there's been quite a bit about that property on Facebook forums. Thank you.
Members?
Again, Stacy Sassine, 6407 Kingsbridge Drive. I live right across. I'll echo everything that my neighbors have shared so far about the appearance of the property. I also question this man's intent of what he wants to do with that property, and you've heard him share the Winter Wonderland, the free gifts to children, the free candy to children, all things that are sending up red flags in my brain. And I have children, and I live in a neighborhood full of children, and I don't want them going to get free candy from anybody in my neighborhood. So I have questions about the intent as well of how he plans to be a good neighbor. He talks a lot about giving people space. My husband and I, we have a boat, we have a camper, we have antique cars, we have an airplane. We pay our way to store those items. Never has he come to the neighborhood to talk to us, to offer this neighborly gesture. This is purely business, and I think if we give him this zoning classification, there's no telling what he might bring onto the property. I've heard adult entertainment thrown around. I do not trust him, so that's my position.
Susan Monroe, 6413 Kingsbridge Drive. I'm ditto with everybody, what they've said. My concern is last week we were on our boat and we looked at the property. This gentleman does not have access where people can come, put their boat, drive there, get in their boat, trailer it, and then dock it off, that kind of, there's no dock, it's just like flush property that goes in the water. You don't have a marina. The marina you discussed is across from this dilapidated house that has sanitation property. The only marina is the marina that I am at is at Port Barrington. Your property is not a marina. It's not an area that people can take their trailers and put their boat in the water. It just doesn't exist.
I haven't said it.
Well, so by having, you're saying, oh, people are gonna dock their boat here and then they can put it in the water. Your property does not exist for that. And frankly, to drive by your property, it is a junkyard, and it looks awful, and it's an embarrassment. And if I were these people and knowing that, I would never have bought across from what you've made that, so. It's unsightly. Thank you.
Okay, do you have a closing statement, sir? You have the
Yes,
opportunity for a closing statement.
All being said, I stopped doing when I received a letter. So whatever is there when I stopped working on it. I've been there, living in that house with my wife and 3 kids and my mom for a year. People that they're putting their nose into somebody else's house and wanted to see who is in the house, who lives in the house. If I'm your neighbor across to you, if I moved in, come over, meet me. What's the problem with that? Come over, meet me. We're gonna have a drink, sit down, barbecue, whatever. I'm a friendly guy. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm not gonna go and search around the houses and knock everybody, hey, I'm your neighbor. Usually when a neighbor comes in, they come in, hey, welcome you. Welcome to our neighborhood. You're welcome this and that. I haven't seen these people once in my life. Nobody ever came to my property. Nobody ever talked to me. Nobody ever said anything. Yeah.
About the rezoning, do you have any closing
For
comments?
rezoning, yes, all this that they've been talking about, this is a different parcel, it's different pin. They talk about my front house, which I did all these decorations for the front house and all that. From my generosity, I love Christmas and I've been doing
All
that.
we're concerned
I
about
know.
is the property for rezoning.
And I don't care for Wonderland. If people don't like it, if they're not happy with what I love and I enjoy, don't come in. That's it. You know, it's simple. Nobody's forced to do anything, and I'm not forced to do anything. Plus, it's free. It's not charged. Nobody's there. Drive up. It's a drive-through. That's it.
Okay.
No questions by the statement.
Okay. Okay, so at this time, we'll close the hearing portion of the meeting, and we will reopen the voting portion of the meeting. So again, this is regarding application 2023-029. The applicant is Darko Nikolic, reclassification from the A1 Agricultural District to the B3 General Business District. I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, for the purposes of discussion, I move acceptance of the petition.
I'll second.
Moved by, the motion's been made by Mr. Eldridge and seconded by Ms. Gardner. Discussion, Mr. Eldridge.
Yes, I'm going to oppose this petition. I believe that it is inconsistent both with the current trend of development in the area and the future land plan for the area. I believe that it is spot zoning. If we grant B3, there are a wide variety of heavy commercial uses that are of right going forward. I am leery of commercial at all in very rural areas, and this is a very rural area. It has some subdivisions, but an awful lot of it is just conservation district property because so much of the land is environmentally sensitive. It isn't on a corner. If it were on a corner of two major streets, I would probably look at it a little more favorably. But it is on a street that is a minor collector road, and that will be the access to the property for commercial uses. It is a SARA area, and storage of vehicles has significant possibility of contamination through leakage and accidents. I don't believe that it's an appropriate use in this area. I don't believe that it is. I perfectly accept Mr. Nikolic's statement that it is not suitable for agriculture currently, although he does have some agricultural uses in terms of livestock on other parts of the same property. But the trend certainly is not toward agriculture, it's away from agriculture. And I would certainly be supportive of a residential rezoning on this property. And a conditional use for some sort of minor type of small business I might do. But to me, this is a very intense use. It is a broad category of commercial uses that will be of right in a completely inappropriate area.
Ms. Becker.
I agree with everything that Mr. Eldridge just said, and I also oppose the petition.
Mr. Schnabel.
Mr. Eldridge's narrative could not have been more well thought out and well spoken. And I would just like to compliment him on that and let him know that fortunately, I do have to agree with what's been said.
Ms. Gardner.
I also agree that this should not be approved. And I want you to know, it has nothing to do with Winter Wonderland. It has nothing to do with chickens or goats or different streets around you or anything else, how long you've lived there. There is a very definite problem with your neighbors. That's not our problem, that is your problem that needs to be worked out between the neighbors and you. But this to me seems like the wrong place for a business of a B3 quality, because that's heavy duty business. If you had your business going and a year from now you left, anything can come in there and have a very substantial business going there. And I can't see that in a neighborhood that's residential and very peaceful. So I am sorry, but I cannot agree with this.
Mr. Kozin.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Being from Algonquin Township, generally one is surprised to find that in an area of 36 square miles, you know something before you so intimately that you did not expect to see an area again. By way of explanation, this parcel, this 2.2 acre parcel with the exhibit presented by the applicant, clearly shows that the proposed driveway, the southern turnout, is within a close proximity to an existing telephone pole. It also shows to the south that this area is within proximity of a 48-inch culvert, of which it is 2 feet below the surface, such that the ditches on either side of the roadway is 6 feet in depth. It also is in an area that to the northwest is a pedestrian crossing for cross-country skiers, bicyclists, as well as walkers who then can cross along the west side of this roadway to the south to about another 200 feet and then cross to the west towards another open space area. I would hope that this parcel was 5,200 feet to the east and have a problem to be dealt with by Lake County, but unfortunately it's in our backyard. It is, by way of further explanation, an area that I spent 7 weekends with a young scout building his Eagle project across the bridge parallel that roadway. He was asked why he should take this project and spend his entire summer 17 years ago building that bridge. And my explanation was it'd be something he could always come back and see and something that he could take care of in the environmental area of McHenry County where he'd grow up and someday come back. I did not expect this morning when I opened up Google Map to see that bridge within such close proximity of a 404 violation. And I would hope that this hearing record is passed on to those who can do such enforcement of both state, federal, and county laws, especially on the 30th anniversary of the Clean Water Act. And so for those reasons, and I too will not be supporting this petition.
Mr. Jers.
Yes, I agree with most people in the room. The A1 Agriculture Zoning District on this parcel and that proximity to the river, the days of production agriculture there are in the history books. The property probably should get a zoning change, but the request for B3 zoning paints such a broad brush. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of permissible uses in B3. If he did get the zoning, put the property onto market tomorrow, and the new owners bought it with B3 zoning, I think we'd have a lot of answers, a lot of questions with the surrounding neighborhood. I'm against the B3. Thank you.
And I also believe that the petitioner has not met the approval standards for map amendments, specifically the compatibility with proposed zoning with the existing use and zoning of nearby property and the consistency of the proposed amendment with the adopted comprehensive plan. So I agree with the comments of my board members, and I'm against the petition. So I'll call for the vote. Again, this is a vote for approval, so if you are against, you'll vote nay. Mr. Eldridge?
No.
Ms. Gardner?
No.
Mr. Cozen?
No.
Mr. Schnabel?
No.
Ms. Beverly?
No.
And Mr. Jers?
No.
And I will vote no. So the motion fails, 7-0.
Madam Chairman, I move rejection of the petition.
It's been moved to deny the petition by Mr. Eldridge. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Gardner. I'll call for the vote again now. In this instance, a vote aye is to deny the petition. Mr. Eldridge?
Aye.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Aye.
Ms. Beverly?
Aye.
Mr. Jers?
Aye.
And I will vote aye. So this goes to the county with a 7-0 vote denying the petition. At this time, the hearing is closed.
They had the rednecks in the middle house, Mexicans living there, they had all kind of garbage in front of it, they couldn't get rid of these bad people there. The only way that we got rid of them, because I purchased the property and I didn't want to live here. The owner couldn't get rid of it.